He looked at his own ships. Then he gave the order to burn every single one of them. 7,000 men, a hostile coastline, an enemy kingdom waiting on the other side. And now, no way home. This is the story of the general who conquered an empire in a matter of months because he made absolutely certain that retreat was never an option. His name was Tariq ibn Ziyad. In the year 711, he led a small army across a narrow strip of water that most of his soldiers had never even heard of. What happened in the weeks that followed would end a centuries-old kingdom almost overnight and reshape the future of an entire continent for the next 800 years. At the time, Spain was ruled by King Roderick, a Visigothic king already struggling to hold his own throne together. His nobles were divided. His grip on power was shaky. Tariq had no way of knowing whether his outnumbered force could survive even a single real battle against him. But he crossed anyway, and the decision he made the moment his feet touched that shore is still argued about by historians to this day. Tariq's army landed on a rocky outcrop at the southernmost tip of Spain, a place that barely had a name at the time. That would change quickly. The mountain where he landed was renamed in his honor, Jabal Tariq, the Mountain of Tariq. Say that name a little differently with a slightly different accent, and you get a word you already know extremely well, Gibraltar. If you didn't already know that Gibraltar was named after a Muslim general from over 1,000 years ago, you're exactly the kind of person this channel was built for. Hit subscribe now. There's a lot more history like this waiting for you. Then came the decision history remembers him for above everything else. Tariq gathered every one of his men on that beach and gave an order that reportedly shocked even his most senior officers. Burn the ships. Every single one. There would be no fleet waiting behind them to retreat to, no boats to run back to if the battle went badly. He is remembered for standing before his soldiers and saying something close to this. The sea is behind you, the enemy is ahead of you, and you have absolutely nowhere left to go but forward. Now, historians are honest about this part. That exact speech wasn't written down until generations after it supposedly happened, which means we can't be completely certain of the precise words. But the strategy behind it, removing every possible option except victory, was very real, and it changed the outcome of everything that followed. At the Battle of Guadalete, Tariq's small outnumbered force met King Roderick's much larger army head-on. Roderick was killed somewhere in the chaos of that fighting, although some historical accounts claim he simply vanished afterward and was never seen again by anyone. Either way, within days, the entire Visigothic kingdom that had ruled Spain for centuries began to collapse. This is exactly the kind of turning point that most history classes completely skip over. If you want more stories like this one, subscribing is the easiest way to make sure you never miss the next video. Word of Tariq's stunning success eventually reached his own commander, Musa ibn Nusayr, back across the strait in North Africa. Musa crossed over himself the following year with a much larger force, and when the two men finally met face to face, it wasn't a celebration. Musa reportedly rebuked Tariq harshly for advancing so far without waiting for him. Two of the most successful generals of their entire era, arguing bitterly over credit for a conquest that would ultimately outlast them both by nearly 1,000 years. Eventually, both men were summoned back to Damascus by the Caliph himself, and this is exactly where the historical trail goes cold. There's no clear, reliable record of how Tariq ibn Ziyad's life actually ended. No final chapter. No confirmed date. The man who personally conquered an entire kingdom in a matter of months simply fades quietly out of recorded history. A mountain on the edge of Europe still carries his name to this day. An empire that lasted nearly 800 years rose from a single decision made on a beach by a man who left himself absolutely nothing to fall back on. But the man himself, even now, we still don't fully know how his own story actually ends. I personally read every single comment left on this channel, so tell me right now in the comments, which hero's story or which historical figure's story should I cover next? Your suggestion might become the very next video you see from me, and if you want more stories exactly like this one, the subscribe button is right there. Plus there's another video just like this waiting for you right now. Assalamu alaikum.